What's going on, everybody? This is Ezequiel Casas of Filmatic Productions. I'm just doing a little quick video, playing around with some time lapse along with my tree. So today is April 15th, and what I usually do on this day is what is called training day. And what I mean by that is training these old climbing roses that have been in my garden for maybe 10 plus years. They've been in my family for a very long time. They may be up to 20 years old even, but they've gotten really, really tall. They're growing into this tree, and I just decided, why not just actually train them up this tree? And what I mean train them means I'm going to be tying branches, branches of the tree, of the rose, to branches of the tree so it fans out naturally. What happens when you have it fan out naturally is a few things. One is obviously just looks nicer. Gets a lot more surface area. When it blooms, it covers a lot more. Obviously covers the tree. The second thing is keeping it away from itself allows more light to get in. Obviously plants grow via water as well as photosynthesis, so more exposure to the sun means it's going to grow faster. And then the third reason is kind of a health reason, is that if you have the rows clumped up together and a disease breaks out, or there's some sort of mold or bug infestation, it can spread to other parts of the rows a lot quicker than if it's more spread out and you can kind of just attack one little area and cure it anyway. So that being said, I've got the ladder here, I've got some leather gloves, I got some twine and scissors, and I got some tools to hopefully take this rose and really spread it out over this tree. Right now it's kind of just, both of them are kind of just growing up into the tree, and I haven't had a chance to actually get it to fan out yet. So as I mentioned, the three reasons that you want to fan out your roses, if they're climbing roses, are 1, just plain surface area, 2, more light exposure, and 3, makes them a little bit less resistant to the spread of disease in terms of the entire rose. So we're going to hit this time lapse, and I'm going to spend about maybe 30 to an hour doing this, and we'll see how it goes. All right, everybody, peace. All right, so we're finished with this first one. Couple things I learned. 1, you really don't want to be doing this in a sweater. I just wore this because it was a little chilly earlier. Now it's nice and warm out. It's really little too warm, and it snags on this all the time. The second thing is, like I mentioned, you want to make sure everything is fanned out first, and then you start tying off, because what I did is I eventually tied off one section. I realized it was a big shoot coming right out of the middle, and I had to pull it through, and it cut up some of the leaves, and you don't really want that. But these roses are going to grow back. It's going to be fine. So like I mentioned, you want to make sure you kind of section things out. What I try to do is I try to take the most back root areas and kind of pull them open and back towards the tree, towards the more far ends of the tree. So you can see on that side, I pulled the longest branch from that root cluster all the way back there, and sort of kind of continued that idea up this way. So some people are probably wondering, if you want it to get more light, why are you tying it next to this tree? Won't the tree shade it? And that is a very good point. That's why I didn't want to try, originally, like I said, the rose was kind of just growing inside of the tree, and that's okay. It's still going to get a decent amount of light. Obviously a tree still gets a lot of light based on its height, but if it's inside, it's still not getting full sun the entire day. So what I wanted to do was basically tie it to the tree, but tie it to the boughs that were kind of sticking out the most, so that way when the roses are growing out, they're sort of going out and down, and they get some of that extra latitude to grow outwards, and get more sun. So you can obviously see right now, some of these sprouts, shoots that weren't growing a lot or didn't have a lot of sun on the actual stalk, just on the tip, are now going to get a lot more sun. Some of these that were hidden all the way back, really shadowed by the tree, are going to get a lot of sun now. They're out here. It's going to be summertime, real summertime soon. So anyway, that's the first one done. That was actually the more complicated one. This one I actually just replanted maybe about a month ago. Been steadily watering it, which is good. So the plants still have a lot of vigor in them, a lot of vitality. Also, there's going to be less like little clusters to have to work with. Unfortunately, I can't find my hedge trimmer, my clipper, and so I kind of had to just kind of work around it. But the other thing is, I don't really want to re-trim it again. It just went through a big trim to be moved over here, so I don't want to give it too much of a shock. Obviously, at a certain point, you do want to trim it back, kind of give more priority to the big branches that are growing, and obviously the branches that are growing up and that are climbing. So anyway, just to review, this was good. Don't wear a sweater. Make sure you obviously have gloves on. Make sure you fan it out first rather than doing what's convenient and then having to pull things through. And then finally, you want to make sure that you're tying these things off mostly to the end of the bough, so that when the rose grows, it's growing out and getting more sunshine. It's kind of fanning out from that tree base. So anyway, that's that one. That one's pretty much done. Obviously, you can see a couple of these are kind of floppy, but that's nice. You know, we want them to kind of flop into the sunshine a little bit, fan out this way. That way you get kind of more of a robust look rather than it all just kind of going up. And that's what we're looking for. So we're gonna turn on the time lapse again, and I'm just gonna quickly do this one. It's pretty much already done. I just want to bring it out to maybe more outwards. Unfortunately, as you can see, this is the tree that's gonna get most of the sunshine anyway, but as summer kind of comes along, this area will get a lot more sunshine. So right now it's April 15th, and this is the tree that's getting most of it in the mornings. Come around June or July, this will start to get a lot of morning light, and come high noon, it'll be basically just blaring down on this area right here. So like I said, I'm just gonna turn on the time lapse. We're gonna go through this one more time and call it a day. All right.